We are in the last quarter of the year, which means it's time for me to do a third quarter check-in with my sinking funds to see how much I've been able to save so far this year and how much I've been able to save overall in my budgeting journey. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, kick back and relax, and let's get into this third quarter check-in right now. All right, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Chris. This is Budgeting Just Because, where we discuss all things budgeting related as it helps us reach our financial freedom that much faster and that much smarter. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing my third quarter sinking fund check-in. If you're new here and you don't know what that means, every quarter I like to check in to see how much I've been able to save so far for the year. And then I also like to see how much I've saved overall since I started this journey over 4 years ago. Now, the reason I do that, I think it's just so important for several reasons. First, I like to make sure I'm on track with my goals that I've set for each one of my sinking funds. I like to move my money over to my high yield savings accounts so it can collect interest. And then finally, I just like to look and see, am I utilizing the sinking fund categories the best of my ability? Do I need them? Do I need to move money around? Things like that. So before we get started, I'd like for you all to comment down in the comment section. How often do you check in with your sinking funds? How often do you keep track of them? Is it every month, every quarter, once a year? Let me know in the comment section below. I will do the cash unstuffing in a separate video, or this video will take forever. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to start with my high priority binder. And this is a sinking fund tracker that I use. I've created this. It is on my Buy Me a Coffee. It is a forever freebie. So you are more than welcome to go and download it and track your sinking funds. Now, another question I get asked is, how many sinking funds do I have? Now, I will tell you, I have 32 sinking funds. Now, I know for some of you that may seem like a lot, but let me just break this down for you really quickly. First of all, I do most of my sinking funds by cash stuffing, but a majority of my sinking funds I move over electronically. So you guys don't even see it on my channel until I do this check-in. The reason for that is some things are just easier to move over. I don't have to cash stuff it. Like for instance, for Christmas, every month I move money over to go into my high yield savings account. So it's collecting interest all year for Christmas. I don't cash stuff that because I want that in the bank. So I have different accounts like that you'll see today. And then another reason why I have so many is because I set goals for each category. Once I reach that goal, then I move that sinking fund out of the rotation so that I can make way for another sinking fund, or I'll allocate that money to the other sinking funds until it reaches its goal. So I hope that makes sense. So again, 32 may seem like a lot to you, but they're not all in rotation at the same time. Some of these I've reached the goal and they just sit in my high yield savings account and they collect interest. So I wanted to make sure I put that out there. No matter how many sinking funds you have, as long as they make sense on your journey and they have a purpose, then by all means, that's how many you have. Okay, let's get started. All right, so we're going to get started with my daughter, Mini-Me. Now, these numbers here on this sheet reflect what's in my high yield savings account that's in the bank already. And then what I'm going to do here is put the amount that's in my envelopes that I cashed up. So you'll see these with the slashes right through them. They don't have bank accounts at this time, or they don't need a bank account. So that's why they have that mark through them. But those with the amounts, they have high yield savings accounts. Okay. So first up is Mini-Me. And like I said, I'm going to do the cash unstuffing in a separate video because I get myself confused, and I'm going to make sure I focus on this part first and then what needs to go back to the bank. Okay, in her envelope, she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 650, 670, 690, 710, 730, 750, 770, 790, 810, 830, 850, 870, $880. So she has $880 in her envelope, $918 in the bank. So that means she has a total of $1,798 in her sinking fund. See how that works? Okay. So that's how we're going to do this. We're going to count how much is in the bank, how much is in the envelope, what the total is, and then we'll total up all the numbers. All right. Her goal for her envelope has always been $3K. That's just a revolving goal because I'm always having to use out of this envelope because she always needs something. This is separate from her savings account. This is just her always get a half stuff account. Now, next up is car maintenance. I do have a goal for this account for $1K. I have $444 in the bank, and in the envelope I have $20, $40, $60, $80, $85. Next up is medical. We got $730 in the bank. And in our envelope, we have $100, $20, $40, $60, $80, $90, $195. My goal for medical is I'd like for this to reach $3K. So this is an example of what I mean when I do these check-ins. If I know my goal for medical is $3K, I want to start looking at how much I'm cash stuffing in here because we're getting close to $1K, which is great. And $3K is just a goal that I want to have overall. I just want to have $3K in this account. So I need to start looking at that to see maybe I need to start cash stuffing more into this account so I can reach that goal. All right, miscellaneous is next. It does not have a high yield savings account because miscellaneous is kind of like, you know, money if I need to grab something or if I go over or just whatever. It's just miscellaneous. So it doesn't need a high yield savings account if I'm going to be pulling from it. You know, if I'm going to need to pull from it, it doesn't need an account. So the goal for this envelope, though, is $250, and it has, oops, that's out of order. And it has $100, $200, $220, $230, $240. Goal for this account is $3,000. Kind of like medical, I should be focusing on this account. It's not urgent though, but I've been trying to reach this goal for a while now because I don't consider it urgent. But what I need to do is evaluate it in the grand scheme of things. Okay, it may not be urgent, but you're close to that goal. You can move this one out of the rotation and start using some of that money like towards medical that you cashed up. See how it works? That's how my brain works anyway. So I'm going to focus on this one next year as well to get this one to its goal. This is what our balance is in the bank. And in the envelope, we have $100, $20, $40, $60, $80, $90, $205. So we're getting closer and closer to that goal. I need to focus on it so I can pull it out of the rotation and concentrate on another category. My fun category is next. Let's see how much we got. We have $20, $40, $60, $80, $100. My goal for fun is to try and keep $1,000 in here at all times. And I know some of you probably think that's a lot for fun, and maybe it is, but we like to have fun. So, you know, that's why I want to try to reach that goal. But again, this is one of those envelopes where once I use out of it, I'm just going to bring it back up to its goal. So probably I may want to look at bringing that number down if I'm always going to keep continuously cash stuffing it to reach the goal. You know what I'm saying? Now, these next several categories, they don't have a high yield savings account. Some I need to start. Some I definitely need to start. And I'm going to look into doing that this year. I have not done it yet, but I need to sit down, focus on the ones that do need an account. Now, put this over here. Or out the way. Here, just go right there. Like clothes. Clothes does not need one because I'm always using out of this, right? If we go shopping or if we need something, I just don't need to have it in a high yield savings account transferring money out all the time. So clothes has a goal of 500 and it has 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 20, 40, 60, 80, $400. And while I'm thinking about it, as I'm going through this, let me know how many sinking funds you guys have. Let me know if you've even started sinking funds. Like I've explained to you guys before, sinking funds is what drives my budget. This is the, priority over my budget and how I allocate, how things are going to follow after that. This is why I take this portion of my budget so seriously, because I want to make sure all of these different categories are stuffed because these are important as it relates to my budget. So if anything were to happen, I have systems in place. So I always want to make sure these are set up first. But let me know if you guys have sinking funds. And if you do, how many do you have? Amazon is next. And it does not have a high yield savings account. And it has $220 in its account. Okay, now travel is one. Travel is one that I need to set up a high yield savings account for because I'm saving in here until we go on vacation. So there's no sense of it just sitting in this envelope when it can be sitting in an account collecting interest until we go on vacation, if that makes sense. So travel has 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 200, 20, 40, 60, 80, $280. All right, that is all of the categories in my priority binder. Now, let's get ready to switch over to my business binder and let's count how much I've saved so far in that binder. All right, so here is my business binder. And what I've done with this binder for my high yield savings account is, if you notice down here, I have a category called business binder, and it's kind of where I've just, you only get so many sinking funds and Capital One for my high yield savings accounts. I think you get like 25. But so if I break all of these into its own category, there won't be enough room. So I've combined everything into one account, and then I separate how much is in each one. So that's what that line item is here. So that's why these don't have their own separate ones, but I need to think about that. I really need to think about that. Okay, so put that over here. Okay, so post office is up first. Okay, post office has $20, $40, $60, $70. Supplies is next. Whoops. Okay, supplies has 250, 270, 290, 310, 330, 350, 370, 390, 410. Next up is subscriptions. I know I need to get this in the bank. I know I do, because I think this is over 1K. Subscriptions has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 758, 20, 40, 60, 80, 9, 20, 40, 60, 80. There's 1, 10, 20, 30, 40, 45. 1,045. And you guys, this is just, I'm trying to get a year ahead of my subscriptions so I can pay them annually instead of monthly. And so I'll have a video soon on that to see where I am, if I can get moving with that. Social media is next. And it has 120, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, 200, 210, 220. $220. All right, we got BJB next. That's budgeting just because. And it has 1, 2, 20, 40, 60, 83, 20, 40, 60, 84, 420, 430, 440, 445. I don't really have a goal for BJB. It really is to cover my expenses as it relates to my websites. So I really don't have a goal for that. Well, the goal is to cover the expenses, but as far as, this is not the savings for BJB. The savings for BJB is in my budgeting just because envelope that's in my YouTube binder. So that's where I save for it. Next is Canva. And Canva has $20, $25, $30. And then again, charity, I don't need a high yield savings account for this because I want to be able to, use this money for charity whenever, I choose. And there's no sense in putting it in the bank and pulling it out. So the goal though is $250. And we have 120, 40, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 200, 5, 10, $215. All right, so that is all the categories, all of my cash stuffing categories. That's in my priority binder, and that is in my business binder. So now the rest of these categories, like I said, I have electronic sinking funds as well. So this is the money that's already in my high yield savings account where I move money over electronically when I get paid, or some of these categories I've already reached the goal and they're out of the rotation and they're just sitting collecting interest. So for instance, like my Christmas, I've already fully funded that one for the year. So I'll probably take this money out. Probably what I will do is probably put anything for Christmas on my card, and then the first of the year pull this money out to pay the money back. Like my home emergency fund, my goal for my home emergency fund was $3,000. I've already met that, so it's just been sitting collecting interest. It has $349 that is collected since I saved for it. Some of these other categories like appliances and family, I use these with savings challenges. I don't save for them a lot, but when I unstuff my savings challenges, that's where that will go. Savopoly is a backup to my main emergency. That's not the savings challenge. I just thought Savopoly was just such a cute name, so I named one of my savings accounts Savopoly because I love it. I nicknamed it Sabop. Anyway, the goal was $3,000, so I've already collected that. So that's what I mean. So I may have 32 sinking funds, but some of these I'm not cash stuffing because they've already met their goal. So that's the way my mind works. That's the way my accounts are set up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through and I'm going to count up how much I've been able to save so far this year with my sinking funds, and then we'll get an overall total on how much I've been able to save for my journey. So let me get my calculator and let me add all of this up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've totaled everything so far this year with my sinking funds, just what I've been able to cash up in my sinking funds. I've saved a total of $5,040 so far this year. That is so awesome. That is why it's so important to check in just to see what your progress is, just to see if you're, saving what you think you should be saving, and just to see how much you save. That's a great amount that I've saved so far this year. Now, overall, on my budgeting journey with all of my accounts total up, the total amount I've been able to save on my journey is $58,264. That is amazing. I am shooting for 100K, and that is awesome. Now, I ain't trying to get that in a year or anything like that, but we are trying to get there, and we are on our way up. So, previous quarter, I was at 53,565. So 53,565 is where I was second quarter, and now I'm at 58,264. So let's see, 53,565. So a difference of 46.99 in the positive that I've saved overall. We'll put a positive there. 46.99 positive increase. So that's what I want to see. I want to make sure that I'm seeing this number go up. Sometimes it may go down. That's why we do these check-ins. Sometimes I had to move some money around in some of these accounts, and I had to do some things. And so that will happen. But if you don't check in, you won't be able to get a look at, oh yeah, that's what I did. I need to make sure I move that back or I get back on track. But overall, I am so happy. I'm just so happy of where I am. And it's motivating. This is going to encourage me to stick with this, keep checking in, and make sure I'm on track on where I want to be. All right, you guys, so that is my third quarter check-in. Thank you so much for just following me on my journey, watching these videos as I keep myself accountable. And just a reminder to you that wherever you are in your journey, whether you're just starting or you just had to start over, just stick with it. It does work. You guys, when I tell you all the time, you have no idea how bad I was with money before I started this journey to where I am now. If I can do it, you can do it too. Just always remember that. You can do this. It just takes being consistent, staying on track, and sticking to your goals, and you got this. So if you guys haven't subscribed to this channel already, please make sure you do. And if you haven't liked this video, I hope you like it. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up, and I will see you guys back here next week. Bye.